What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today I've got for you two stories from r/best of Redditor updates. And the first one, as you can tell by the title and thumbnail, is just mental. This poor man wonders whether or not actually his girlfriend might be a better fit for his younger brother than he is, even questioning whether or not to help set them up. There is another story to come after that one as well, so stay tuned for the second story in this episode. Before we get into the first, I just want to answer a couple of comments that I've seen recently in the comment section down below. Normally I don't really do this because I like to get straight into the stories, but I'm changing my mind on that a little bit this year, and I want to have more of a conversation with you guys. You know, the core loyal listeners out there that I know you all are if you're listening to this, about just my channel in general. A few of you have been saying in the comments that you want more shorter stories like this sort of episode going forward, not the long form compilations. And trust me, I fully understand that. I really do. To be completely transparent with you all though, if it wasn't for the long form content, like the compilations, the 3-hour videos, the 5-hour videos, the 12-hour episodes, I wouldn't be able to actually do this channel anymore. Like, being completely real, the shorter episodes just do not make enough money on YouTube after paying my editor, Steve-O, for it to be worthwhile to me. Like, a lot of them actually make a loss, which maybe is surprising to hear, but that is the truth. What works really well is when I then compile all those stories into one longer episode. The reach on those like 3-hour videos is just way more than on these shorter ones. I don't necessarily know why that is. I think people just like listening to the longer stuff, and they don't necessarily listen to, this is new sort of viewers, I suppose. They don't necessarily listen to each and every individual episode. And I think because of doing those like 3-hour long episodes, YouTube knows that my watch time and listen time and my engagement can be at like 3 hours, you know, like 1 hour plus, which it is for a lot of those longer episodes. So sometimes I think when I then do these shorter episodes, actually YouTube is sort of punishing me in a way, and this is YouTube specific by the way, saying, oh, well, this shorter episode only got, say, 15 minutes of average watch time, whereas your longer ones get over an hour. So it must be a worse video. I'm not 100% sure what's going on with that, but if you want to look back at my channel, you can see there's a very obvious difference in terms of views between the longer compilation videos and the shorter ones. So the point is, I have to do those longer ones, and I know for some of you, you probably don't like that. And for me as well, if I was like a loyal listener or watcher of a channel and they were doing compilations quite often, I wouldn't like that because I've already listened to the stories. I don't need to listen to them again. But it's like a new audience out there that enjoy the longer ones. So it's a tough spot for me because I read your comments and I fully get it. Don't get me wrong. But hopefully, now that I've explained that a little bit more, and I probably should have explained that earlier, it's made it more apparent or more obvious to you guys why I sort of genuinely need to do the longer videos. Like, I can't understate, if I didn't do them, I wouldn't be able to do this. Like, they're just, these videos, the shorter ones, just don't make enough money. Obviously, when they're then compiled into the longer ones, they do make the money, and I have to do the shorter ones to enable the longer ones, of course. So don't worry, like, I'm never going to stop doing the new stories, the shorter stories. But yeah, hopefully that explains why I need to continue doing the longer videos. But my plan going forward is to do 3 to 4, hopefully 5 more normal episodes per week, and then 1 or 2 longer compilation videos. So just letting you know, that's the plan going forward. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below about that. As always, very interested to hear what you guys have to say. Let's get into this one though. My girlfriend and my brother are soulmates. My girlfriend, who is 21, and I, a 21-year-old man, have been dating for about 7 months now. We both used to work at the same restaurant, and I asked her out. I've always felt like we were very different people, but that's what I liked about our relationship. I feel like I'm always learning something by being around her and try my best to indulge in her interests. Now, 3 months ago, I introduced her to my family, and they all seemed to like her, especially my younger brother, who is 20. I didn't really think much of it, and I was happy to see them get along, since I'm very close to my brother. But I've realized, over time, that they just fit way better with each other. They both have the same interests in movies, books, music, sports, foods, you name it. Although my girlfriend was hesitant at first about it, I encouraged her to go for things alone with my brother if it wasn't something I was really into, and they both had a great time. And I know just having the same hobbies sounds trivial, but it's also their personalities. They're both very free-spirited and adventurous, and I can't help but notice that they look so much happier with each other than with me. Sometimes I feel really out of place around them, as if I'm not supposed to be there. But I swear, this is not out of jealousy, I just genuinely think they're better for each other. I love both of them, and if this is what makes them happy, then I'd rather they date each other and let me move out of their way. I'm not exactly sure how to execute this or talk about this with either of them though. How do I go about setting them up? That is unbelievable. I think the first thing I need to talk about here is just how self-aware you are, OP. Like, this is definitely one of the most self-aware starts to a Reddit post that I've seen. I don't know if it's like really sad or maybe a good thing. I don't know. I don't know what it says about OP's self-esteem is what I'm trying to get at. They do just seem very self-aware, and I don't necessarily think they lack loads of confidence. I don't think it's a thing like, oh, I'm not good enough for her, but my brother is because they have more similar interests. I don't think it's that sort of like pick me sort of vibe. I think this guy is just being 100% honest. But it's a crazy thing to suggest. Like, how would that dynamic even work going forward? Maybe this is the sort of person that would be able to deal with that and like have your what would be ex date your younger brother. I don't know how I'd feel about that. I feel like that would just be too mental for me personally. But you know, if OP is really close with his brother and he does genuinely see them as a better fit, which it's clear that he does, then maybe he is open enough and like selfless enough to let this sort of thing happen, or even to encourage it. I mean, you've said at the end there that how do I go about setting them up? It's just like a crazy thought to me. But yeah, that's just the first post. Let's have a look at some comments first of all, and then we'll get into the update. But wow, what a start to this one. Okay, so somebody said, your brother shaped you as well. You apparently connect well with people like him and like your girlfriend. So it's no wonder she's very much into you and possibly would be less into your brother than you think. Yeah, very fair. Somebody else said, you got to work on your self-esteem. I guess that was kind of what I was getting at. What you'll learn eventually is that someone being attracted to you is not up to you. And no one who is attracted to you is going to want to hear you try to explain why they're wrong. If you trust a partner, part of that involves trusting their judgment about being with you. Oh, and stop sending them on dates. That's weird. That's a good point. I didn't really touch on that, but yeah. Maybe your younger brother and your girlfriend doing stuff solo together that they both enjoy is a little bit weird. I mean, it's not, but it's if it's a regular occurrence and you're not there often, then it's a bit weird. Somebody else said, this post is equal parts selfless and heartbreaking. Yeah, well said. I really respect your maturity and self-awareness, but I think you're being too quick to write yourself out of your own relationship. You say they're soulmates, but your girlfriend chose you, not him, and that matters. Shared interests aren't everything. Chemistry, emotional connection, and commitment also play huge roles. You're viewing their bond through a lens of comparison rather than focusing on what you two have built. Instead of trying to set them up, maybe have a vulnerable, honest conversation with your girlfriend. Tell her how you've been feeling and ask how she feels about your relationship. You might be surprised. She might be with you because you bring something her bond with your brother doesn't. I think that's a great point, and I think that's actually quite likely. And please, stop facilitating their time together like that. It's blurring boundaries and making things messier than they need to be. If things are meant to shift, they will, without you sacrificing yourself for it. Ultimately, don't martyr yourself. Love should be mutual. Don't give yours away without making sure it's still being returned. Fantastic comment. And finally, somebody said, whoa, slow down. Your girlfriend probably has zero interest in your brother. People don't necessarily like being with someone like them. My husband is my polar opposite, thank God. And I would be absolutely miserable dating somebody like me. I'm too annoying. That is actually a great point. And it's something that, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm thinking about myself right now. It's very apt in my life. Maybe I'll touch on that after we finish this update, which came 5.5 months later, just a week or so ago at the time of recording. First of all, thank you to everyone who wrote nice, encouraging things and advice in my last post. I really appreciate it. I kind of got rid of this account after the post got too many views, but then I randomly opened it yesterday to several messages about it being covered by Smosh. Smosh already got there? That's a shame. I love Smosh, but also screw Smosh. I'm doing it my way. I'm a huge fan of them, by the way, so this was very surprising. Anyway, I will cut to the chase. After writing that post, I did a lot of introspection and self-reflection. I think a lot of people caught this, but I do indeed suffer from low self-esteem and I struggle with low confidence. I didn't want to acknowledge it, but it did get in the way of my relationships often. I am a brutally honest man, and that is exactly what I did. I was very honest about all of this to my girlfriend. I didn't tell her that I thought my brother and her were soulmates, but I told her that sometimes I feel like I can't directly connect with her because we're so different. And what she said really changed my perspective on our relationship. She said that she loves that I'm different and compliment her in a way that completes her. She also expressed that she would want to get more involved in my hobbies. So the past few months we've spent time doing random things together that we individually enjoy, and it's turned out great for us. She makes me really happy and I try my best to make her life better too. I've also met her family now and they are all lovely people as well. We still do things together with my brother and it's also a good time. I think at the end of the day, the root of all of this was indeed my insecurity. It really wasn't about my brother, because I think I would have been insecure if it was a friend or really anyone else. Besides, it is true that I enjoy my brother's company because of the kind of person he is, so it's made sense for me to be with someone who's similar. It attributes more to the fact that she fits really well in my life. I've also come to realize that I was looking at this from a very trivial perspective. My girlfriend is so much more than her hobbies and interests, and there's so many other things about her that actually set her apart from other people in my life. Thanks again, everyone, for your advice. Okay, well, there we go. That is actually a fantastic ending to this story, and to be honest, I wasn't 100% sure we were going to get there. I was worried for OP. The second half of that, the update, provided all the context that I needed really, and the comments after the first post were great, and they were all very valid. And yeah, ultimately it did just come down to OP being insecure and maybe thinking that things weren't meant to be, but I suppose that shows the power of communication. A couple of conversations with your girlfriend, all good. She's obviously with you because it's you, and there's a reason why she's not with somebody like your brother, right? Like, she likes you for you. So it's great that you guys got to that conclusion, and I'm very happy for both of you. So there we go. Fantastic. And seeing as I'm apparently being a bit more open, I suppose, with my own life and relationships this year, which I think is actually one of my resolutions this year, is to be more open with you guys and tell you more about what's going on with my life. There's a girl that I'm seeing right now that I've been seeing for the past couple of months, and we're quite different in terms of our personalities, and I guess, I don't know what the word is. I'm a bit more extroverted. She's a little bit more introverted. And I've realized that I quite like that about her. In fact, I like that a lot. Like, not being with somebody who is the same as you can work really well, I think. Like, I really agree with that comment where someone said, if I was with a man and they were the same as me, it would be too much. It would be annoying. I think I would get annoyed by myself at times. So yeah, I definitely related to that comment. And I think that I'm glad that OP has come to this conclusion, and clearly, 5.5 months later, it's working out. So it was the right decision, and I hope things continue to go well for you guys. Phenomenal ending to that story. Okay, let's get into our second story of this episode. Am I the jerk for shutting off the movie halfway through and making my boyfriend feel bad? My boyfriend Wyatt and I always watch movies together every time we have days off that end up on the same day, especially since the pandemic. This was posted in 2021, and we go back and forth on who picks the movie. But I've noticed he's usually talking through my movie choices, either pointing out plot holes or just talking down about the movie in one way or another. I never act this way when it's his turn to pick the movie, even if I don't care for it. Like the last movie he chose, The Fountain. I was so confused until halfway through and then bored the rest of the film, but I didn't talk during the movie or constantly dump on it either. And even at the end, when he asked what I thought, I said it was alright, even though I thought the movie wasn't good. It tried to do a bunch of different things all at once and ended up doing nothing, but he seemed really fond of it, so I didn't want to hurt his feelings. But he doesn't seem to have that mindset when it comes to him watching my picks. I've told him to shush and to just watch the movies, but he just sighs loudly and says they're boring. If I tell him to stop, he gets all huffy and goes totally silent, and usually takes his phone out to play a game or scroll the internet, totally ignoring me and the movie. It really hurts my feelings. And yesterday was my turn to choose again, and I picked a good movie that really hit me hard as a kid. I bawled when I first watched it, and I still tear up to this day. And I told him this movie was special to me, but he barely got 10 minutes into it before he started up saying it was boring and childish. Yeah, it's a kids movie, but that doesn't make it boring. I was getting upset, and before the big part of the movie even got close, I just couldn't take it anymore. I felt like him acting this way during a super important part would ruin the movie for me, maybe forever. So I just got up and I turned it off. He asked what I was doing, and I told him I didn't want to have the movie ruined for me, so it was better if I just turn it off. He said I was being a baby and to turn it back on. I refused, and I just told him to pick something to watch instead. Then I sat on the couch. He got mad and said if I was going to be dramatic like this, then he didn't want to watch anything with me, and he got up, went to his room, and slammed the door. This happened the other day, and he's been giving me the cold shoulder. And when I asked why, he said he wants an apology for making him feel like dirt. Should I apologize? Did I really make a huge deal out of just the movie? Am I the jerk? No, it's obvious you're not the jerk. And once again, I had a similar experience the other day where the girl I'm seeing put on a film, or she wanted to watch a film that meant a lot to her and a lot to her family. It's like a Christmas film that she's always watched every single year, means a lot to her. And I watched it with her. Well, I watched like, a bit of it. We watched like the first hour or so before we got tired or whatever. But like, imagine me going on my phone during that movie and being like, oh, this is like really trash. It's for kids. It's like quite a similar situation to this. I didn't do that. The movie was all right. Like, I quite enjoyed it. But even if I thought it was like absolutely terrible, that would be so disrespectful to somebody that you care about. Like, it doesn't even matter if that movie means something to them. It's just disrespectful, isn't it, to do something like that? It's not the greatest movie of all time. And I feel like she would also say that. But if it means a lot to the person that you're with, then saying or acting as if it's terrible, like, how's that going to make them feel? Ultimately, the movie doesn't matter because it's just a movie. And, its conception had nothing to do with you or your girlfriend or whoever it is in the situation. But like, just acting as if you don't care says more about you and how you feel towards the person you're with than the actual movie itself, I think is the point I'm trying to make. So yeah, very poor from your boyfriend, and obviously you're not the jerk here and you did the right thing. Okay, let's get into the update here, which was posted 3 days later. OP says, hey, I ended up having to call my parents, who called the cops on Wyatt. What the hell? The cops? Wow. I read all the advice from everyone saying he wasn't respecting my interests or me as a person, and it got me thinking about stuff that I ignored or overlooked before it started popping out to me. Stuff that didn't seem fair to me that I just put up with because I loved him. And so many people told me just to break up with him and that I could do better. But I was in love, and he was my first serious boyfriend, and I really just wanted to work things out and get through this thing with him. So I tried to sit down and have a serious talk with him, just hoping he'd listen this time. I told him how he acted made me feel, and his behavior during my movie choices ruined the experience for me. And I told him I never act that way during his movies because I know he likes them, and I respect him, and I don't want to be mean or belittle his interests, even if they don't interest me. About then, he told me I was being dramatic again, and they were just stupid movies, and he tried excusing his behavior by saying my movie choices suck anyways. What a nice guy. I was just so tired by this point, and I wanted some space and quiet to think about where to go from here. So I started to ask him to go back to his apartment for the night. But he interrupted me by yelling how since I couldn't have my way, I was kicking him out. It really scared me because he's never screamed at me before. Even when he'd raise his voice during arguments, he never full on screamed at me. I tried to get him to calm down, but he started calling me a bunch of nasty stuff, and he even backed me up against the wall and grabbed my bicep hard enough to bruise it. I panicked and ran to the bathroom, and I locked it behind me. He banged on the door, telling me to come out. I was crying, and I couldn't think of anything else to do but call my parents. Mum answered, and she could hear him screaming and the banging in the background. Her and Dad were freaked out, and Dad called the cops. Long story short, the cops and my folks showed up, and Wyatt was removed from my apartment, and my parents told him not to come back or would get a restraining order. It's almost 10:30 p.m. now, and I've locked my apartment up, and I'm currently staying with my mum and dad for a while. Thank you for the advice, everyone. But Wyatt and I are pretty much over, and I think I'm done with this account, and I'll be logging off now. Wow. Well, that went from nothing major, I say nothing major in terms of a physical sense, to, oh my gosh, OP's life's in danger very quickly. You know, if nothing else, that whole thing, I suppose, taught you that you're not meant to be with this. I don't say taught. Told, what's the word? Like, made you aware of the fact that this person is not the person to be with. That was very, very scary, and I'm so sorry you went through that. That is shocking. But yeah, let's go back to how he was before that. Equally as bad. Well, not equally as bad. No, not what I mean. But very bad. And to be fair, the sort of person that I think would just belittle all your interests and be like, I'm not watching this, it's terrible, is the sort of person that I could see banging on a door and being like, nah, get out of there. Like, just a terrible person. Terrible stuff. Sorry you went through it, but there we go. That is going to do it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. 2 stories there, which I hope you loved. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this episode. First video back like this, normal video on the channel in the new year. Hope you liked it. See you soon for some more, and have a great rest of your day.